Here we go. All right. All right. We are live. Obviously, we're having a little bit of technical. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we're live. The boys are back. Been probably about 3 weeks. We've been up to a lot of stuff, and I think we're going to talk about it a little bit today. Um, First, I'd say cheers for all the stuff we've been up
Yeah,
to.
we've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm not one for multitasking either, man. It's been a crazy couple weeks.
Yeah.
I had to go buy a planner. I didn't
Think
even use one of those when I was like actively doing things.
things are happening. We're out here. We're drinking local beer from our friends over at Forest. Met them down at one of the festivals that we've been helping out at. Um, but yeah, lots of things are going on. We're definitely going to get into it. NFL, kind of the slow period. Uh, Chad and I have kind of like developed a little bit of a man crush on the CFL. First time in a while. And we got the home run derby tonight. So that's kind of going to wrap us up, and we're going to drop little nuggets in here and there. Chad, how you feeling? Like you had anniversary. You were out in Detroit.
Yeah, man, it was wild. So probably the last few weeks we've all been super busy. But yeah, this weekend I had my anniversary. Took my wife to her first ever baseball game. I found that out when we were down there.
And
She'd never been to the Sky Dome before. And
you got to see a no hitter.
yeah, and I
First
was
baseball game.
yeah, and I was just like, so like when you're gonna go to Comerica, like you're never gonna want to go to the Sky Dome ever again.
Yeah.
Like she's like, well, I've never been there before. I was like, mind blown because I just thought everybody in Canada's been to the Sky Dome.
Right.
Um, First inning, game gets delayed. I messaged Juice. I'm like, this guy's definitely watching it on Sportsnet. They wouldn't tell us the time of the game.
Right.
When it's gonna be like starting up again. Like you told me the time, whatever. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. We get dumped on again. Comes out. We're inside the pavilion. You look at the field. All you see is like a sheet of white. That's how bad it's raining. The first inning. First pitch, dings. Forget his name right off the bat. First pitch. Next guy, 4-0 walk. I'm like, yeah, they're calling this thing for sure for pure safety reasons. Comes back out. Skies part. Hottest day I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
I got the Shane sunburn on my forehead. I didn't turn my hat around. Wanted to be just like you.
Vintage half moon.
And yeah, then we saw a no hitter. Super cool to see.
Yeah.
And then I had to tell my wife, like, just so you're aware, like, this doesn't happen.
Right.
Especially combined no hitters. Even bigger, like, she's like, what do you mean? I was like baseball's been around for like 200 years. There's been like 300 of these in total.
And that's highballing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like perfect games, you're probably under like the 30 no hitters. I'll bet you it's like 110.
Combines, like,
Combines
yeah.
combines is kind of a new thing because like before managers would never ever pull your pitcher if you had a no hitter.
So I have a question for you actually about this because
Yeah.
like, I'm not a huge baseball guy. Everybody's booing them as they're pulling the pitcher, obviously,
Bullshit. Yeah.
because like you're yanking them as a no hitter. But like what I saw was he didn't even put up a fight. He was like, all right, just kind of walked off the mound. I was like, did he know he was done?
Uh,
Like, did he know his arm was jelly at that point, or like what they're gonna walk into? Like, some of the Tigers are good. So like,
yeah.
yeah, they're only up by 2 runs. So usually I would understand that part of it. Like, they have nothing to lose anyways.
Yeah, and like what it is like their roster's so young, and like they have I have a couple of old guys and a bunch of young guys. So you have a kid out there, and AJ Hinch comes out, respected manager, would still probably be the manager of the Astros if it wasn't for that like cheating gate thing that came out, where like stealing signs, which I stand beside. Every fucking level of baseball steals signs. So like don't even start. Who cares if you're banging drums? Like no one actually cares. So he would still be, but he's probably a top five manager in the league. So if you're a young pitcher and you're trying to make a career for yourself, putting up a fight against AJ Hitt is probably not going to like get you anywhere. It would be the equivalent of, you know, a first year receiver trying to lip off Andy Reid for not throwing the ball enough.
I'll tell you what Andy Reid. That's where I was gonna go.
Yeah,
I was like, where are we gonna take this? Because
like it's definitely not Belichick.
yeah, it says like not Belichick's. Like, where do we put like the top tier level of coaches? I was trying to figure out where you're at.
And then I would have just got stank eyed if I said Mike Tomlin,
Yeah.
but like I would say like yeah, like Andy Reid, if he's not the best coach in football, which like historically he's not, then I would say he's second or third, and that's kind of where he's gonna rank there. Um, but yeah, it was a good series for you to be at. Like you weren't at Sunday's game, were you?
No, I didn't go to Sunday's game.
Sunday's game came down to the last out, and the Jays kind of finished strong there.
So like as I told you, like it got rain delays. So, like every single person got dumped on in rain. And like you've been to sport events, you know how the girls dress.
Oh yeah,
Everybody's trying to be cute. We gotta be practical too. I looked over at one point, and like this girl had like 3 a.m. bar makeup,
that a girl.
like just looked like she bawled her eyes out, ratty hair, makeup all running around. I'm just dying laughing.
We got 41 people currently listening in Norman, Oklahoma. So shout out to Norman, Oklahoma, big time.
Also, Nick Newman wants to see how the other curious because he definitely didn't see the Tigers game that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, he's I think he's still loving his life out in Mexico. I'm not sure he's quite back yet. Um let's let's drop a little bit of news, chat. Why don't we say like some of the stuff that we've been up to, cuz you know me, I can't sit on this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And
I'm so proud of you though.
I'm so impressed that we didn't get this out there. But in August, middle of August, the boys are going to be going on to Rogers TV and doing a local London-based sports show. That's going to be broadcast all the way through London to Middlesex and anywhere that the Rogers TV network touches. It'll be on their Rogers YouTube channel. It'll be on their website. So anybody that's out of that range, we can definitely get you a link so that you can keep up with us. It's not going to be a live show, but if you're looking forward to us swearing or drinking during it, those are two of the things that they told us we weren't allowed to do. So I'd say big cheers to the boys. Um, Heading into season 4, this is a big step.
I think the most important part of talk about that though is this show's not changing.
Yes.
We do get creative control of that show with a couple guidelines.
Yeah.
But the one nice thing, this show every Monday night's not going to change. We're going to be who we are. We're going to drink. We're going to swear just for my fucking people down in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I know they like to play that game.
Bounce a shot.
Yeah. Do it again. One more time. Fucking gamble. And we are going to gamble. That is what we do. It's who we are. And that part's not changing. Oh, yeah. It's like massive news for us signing with Rogers in our hometown. And some big opportunities come from that as well, right?
Yeah. So we met up with some new sponsors and we got some new stuff going. Hot sauce fans, we got some of that on the way. And then lots of cool things that are going to come out. So stay tuned to that for that all summer long. We're definitely going to be rocking and rolling on that. Um, we'll jump a little bit of NFL because like we don't need to keep talking about the future here, but DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook both unsigned. Walking into today, if you go to a betting site, depending on which betting site you go to, I happen to be messing around on DraftKings today because they had an awesome boost for the home run derby. Um, but they are both favored to go to the Patriots, and if D Hop doesn't go to the Patriots, then he's second in line to go to the Titans. So my question to that is why? Why would either one of those players, outside of wanting to play for Belichick, I get it. They're not set up to be a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. Like, unless I'm missing something. Like, I've hated the Patriots for so long. Maybe I have my blinders on here, but like, what?
They're not a fourth team in that division.
Yeah,
Like, forget the conference. In that
yeah,
division, I think they are the last place team.
yeah,
And if I'm a guy like D Hop, first off, you know the Patriots are not going to pay you.
right.
So you're not going to get a ring out of it. You're not getting a paycheck out of it. That's got to be off the table. And then outside of that, it's just kind of like paying the other option. Once again, you're going to a young quarterback. Like you just did this in Arizona.
That's the thing. Like, are you messing around with Tannehill? Or are we always are we trying to get who's the guy that fell apart? I can't think of his name right now. Who was the guy that fell apart and he slipped into the second round?
Lamar?
No,
This year.
no, this year.
Levis.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be Tannehill or if it's going to be Levis. Uh, Based on contracts, it has to be Tannehill, but I mean, the NFL is a crazy place.
And I think the craziest part is that they're already saying like goodbye to Malik Willis is the rumor I heard. Like I wish Kittle should have come to play the Sabi also defend his guys.
Yeah.
I don't even like I just don't understand how you're already giving up on him already.
It's a Mike Tomlin guy. He'll go get him.
Oh, he's gonna be your new CJ fucking Cardell.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, he's going to need probably 3 years to learn how to play quarterback at a different level. Like when you're at Liberty, like yes, you played a little bit of competition, but you can't just always be the best athlete. Are we having a microphone problem?
Oh, we're good. Just fixing the Simmons sound.
Okay. Liam made an appearance on camera there for a second. Um, when you look at either one of these guys, and I mean, I don't think Cook would end up with the Titans, but let's say both guys end up at the Patriots. Does that somehow move them past any of these teams?
Dalvin Cook, no.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now with the Patriots. D Hop, I guess, I might make Mac Jones' job a little bit easier. Gives him a real weapon, like a real threat.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, like you're lined up against, like Miami's got unreal secondary.
Yeah.
Bill's got a great secondary,
Right.
and the Jets have improved everywhere with a great secondary and probably one of the best young up and coming corners in the league. I'm not saying D Hop can take him, but like you're not just gonna win that battle every round. And I don't think Mac Jones is good enough to like lead D Hop to win those battles.
Right. I'll tell you what is good enough. This beer. I'm usually not a craft beer guy. You know that. I'm not. But this beer is legit.
Well, we did say we couldn't keep drinking Miller Lights because if
Yeah.
the end of the show gets a little more fun for everybody else, though.
Yeah, Liam and I currently are training for boxing. We're going to be in a boxing match in November. So drinking 7 Miller Lights or 11 Miller Lights on a random Monday while we're doing the show probably isn't going to work out anymore. So we're trying to drink something a little heavier so that we feel better about ourselves. Maybe something with less preservatives. These seem like they're all natty ingredients, so we'll roll with that. Anyway, it feels pretty good.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
Like we have lots of football, which we have not that much football to talk about. You already look winded.
Well, so last week was tough. This week felt better.
Yeah, it's been cool watching you guys go. Like a bunch of them watch the show know that I've trained on and off for years. It's kind of got me like a little fire lit under my ass too. So I'm like, fuck, if these guys are going, like I can't let them do it alone.
Right.
So it's kind of got me going again. I trained with Liam last week for the first time. I just invited you out on Thursday morning this week, and I'm having fun with it. It's great to see you guys doing it, and I think it's just awesome for both of you guys in general. Like I can't wait for this event for a great cause too.
Yeah. Fight to end homelessness. November 8th. Rumble in the jungle. We'll see how it goes. I mean, everyone's first question when they ask me is like, "Who are you fighting?" Like, I don't know, because I don't even know what weight class I'm going to fight in. I mean, at this rate, I might be fighting at like the 170. I might be fighting lower than Liam.
I'm actually more excited to see what happens. Like it's gonna sound when someone punches one of you guys both in the face, and just to see the next reaction.
I've been punched in the face before.
Yeah, I know both of you have.
Yeah.
I know I have too. And it's always really rough. I think anytime I've ever seen it happen, any exhibition fight, the first one, no matter who it is, they stop for a split second, like, oh, I just got hit in the face.
Yeah.
Like I said, we all been like, I was in hockey fights, you played sports, you got a couple of fights in a bar once in your life. You don't recognize those ones, but like when you're in a ring, it's a little bit different.
Right.
I'm so excited for it. Like, obviously, it's a black tie event. All the money goes to an amazing cause for the homeless issues in London. Is that for?
Yeah. So they have there's a thing called Jones Place, and Jones Place is going to directly support um, youth in homelessness. Like if you read, yeah, like a young family that might not be able to get themselves set up, or maybe like a young family that had just had their child taken away from them, and they need to learn how to be parents so that they can get their child back. That's the kind of stuff that they're trying to do. So I think that's a great cause, and we're going to do everything that we can to support them and raise a whole bunch of money for them.
Liam, you want to throw your fight link in by the comments there, and then anybody watching can go donate there.
Yeah. Yeah, go donate to Liam. My workplace is taking care of me, so do the personal money for Liam. Now we're talking about personal money. We got to get into some of this NFL gambling shit because some of these guys are just wiling out. And I read one article and it didn't out anybody, and it didn't really do. It didn't really say who it was, I guess. So we'll have to speculate. But there is a report out that one NFL player lost $8 million last year gambling.
Is it current or former NFL player?
Current.
As far as AB was my top guess, it was former. That guy has lost his brain, and that would kind of make sense.
No, well, I mean, he hasn't retired technically, so maybe that's what they're trying to like fish up a story because things are a little slower in the NFL at the moment.
Can I also tell you who did lose a shit ton of money in the last 2 years? Somebody wouldn't guess. Trevor Lawrence.
Really?
He took his paycheck in the good old form of Bitcoin. he lost a good chunk, so he's really playing for that second contract.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I think he had family money coming in, but like
Yeah.
either way, you want to stand on your own feet. Like
Yeah.
we saw his draft party, and like he was at like some like massive ranch, but
Yeah, they were talking about it during a game last year. He got his money in Bitcoin. So the whole Odell Bitcoin thing came out. He
yeah,
was one of the other guys too.
and because everyone thought he was a bust after the first year, no one named him by name, so um, that's crazy to think. So this year's, I mean, you brought up Trevor Lawrence. So who is this year's Trevor Lawrence? I mean, who's going to be the quarterback that makes the next step? I mean, Trevor Lawrence won a playoff game. I mean, in pretty amazing fashion. Um, Took the Jaguars out of like pretty much obscurity. So I mean, who's doing that this year?
I honestly think it's Justin Fields. And I'm not saying,
Okay.
I think he came on at the end of last year. Like, the guy was a star. And there's no doubt about it. Whenever the Bears played, he was the best guy on the field. On sometimes both teams.
Yeah, I mean, by far the best athlete, right?
And they've done some work to get him some weapons and help him out a little bit. The offensive line wasn't that bad last year.
Yeah, and they beat it up again.
Yeah,
And I think they went into the draft to get him too.
and they brought in some guys on defense. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win the North by any means, but I think Justin Fields can go to that next tier.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we rank the North right now, like it's pretty wide open because what we've always given the Packers hasn't been there. I mean, historically, if we're looking at have the Lions ever actually lived up to the hype? Not in our lifetime. I mean, they made the playoffs once, like for with Stafford.
Once with Stafford, and I think the last one was Scott Mitchell was the quarterback.
Right. So I mean, we're looking at like I remember it. I remember sitting at what used to be called McGinnis Landing. I don't even remember what it's called now, but and watching it's closed. Oh, something else now. Watching them just get decimated by the.
Shucks.
Oh, oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's hilarious. I remember watching them get decimated by the Saints, and that was like Drew Brees' like coming out with the Saints kind of thing. The Saints might have even won the Super Bowl that year, maybe '09. But if you believe in the Lions, and for argument's sake, I guess we can say the Lions are probably the favorite to win that division.
Yeah,
Or are the Packers still? I don't know. I mean, they still got the same run game.
they had the same whole roster except Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers did not play great last year.
Right.
The Vikings have downgraded, I think, everywhere.
Yeah. Except for our quarterback.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson are still there, but there's no one else there.
Right.
So yeah, the Lions, I guess on paper today would be the favorite to win that division.
Right.
But the Bears have done so much to better their team.
I'm going to be going to a Bears game this year, so I hope they're good.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Justin Fields is my guess to go to that next level.
I'm going to see Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I mean,
Passing the torch or what?
Yeah, I mean that might be an underrated matchup. Week 4 in Chicago.
You can't go on your Broncos ride again, man. I won't let it happen.
No. I already put that horse to bed. It's that Broncos horse is at the glue factory. I like what you're saying about the Bears. It makes sense. But are we writing off the Packers too quickly? Maybe. I honestly don't believe at all in the Lions. Like last year they won 8 games? So this year they're due to win 4.
Can I cut you off because I want to be the one to say it, just so that you don't go like a homer? I think Kenny Pickett's the other option.
Okay, cool. I do too, and I just don't want to be that guy.
That's why I wanted to say it because I was like, if you say it, like, I don't know how much time we got in the show.
Yeah,
because you're gonna like defend your answer, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
Everything that you guys have around him is to make him succeed. He showed so much improvement the last couple weeks of the season. If you can ride that high, he's gonna have to do anything else.
Yeah.
And that, like, if TJ Watt comes back, the defense gets instantly better.
Mm-hmm.
You have weapons all around for him. All he has to do is just play football. Yeah. That's all he has to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, they figured out the corner position, massively upgraded his offensive line, and brought in, like, if you can bring in Allen Robinson and make him your third option, you're feeling pretty good. And I mean, down the stretch, they finished the season 7-2 to keep Mike Tomlin's
streak alive.
So You know, I would have loved to see them make the playoffs, and like that would have been a pipe dream. But this year feels different. I know that everyone's all over Baltimore, and like I'm just gonna sound like a hater. I don't believe in the Baltimore roster. I think that there's a good roster in Cincinnati that's been there, but there's gonna be some turmoil because all those guys are they're waiting to get paid, right? Like if Burrow, Chase, and or Higgins all don't have contracts heading into the season, I think like that ball that you're gonna go up for, you might not go up for because you don't want to get hurt, and like that play you were gonna extend, you're not gonna extend it because it doesn't really matter.
In the chat.
Kelly's in the chat. Is
Texas
Texas back?
we'll get there.
Yeah,
Don't you worry.
we will definitely jump into that for sure. But yeah, I don't want to say that Steelers are going to win the division because that would be super homerish. But
It's the Bengals division to lose.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to put it.
I'm willing to bank on the fact that Baltimore will finish last in that division, and that Cleveland will finish third, and that either Cincinnati or Pittsburgh will finish first. We've always had good success against Joe Burrow, so we'll just call it like whatever. We'll just say Steelers go 11-6, win the division, and then the Super Bowl. Yeah, so is Texas back? Yes, they're undefeated because the season hasn't started. But are they back? I don't think so. I mean, we looked at some of their like upcoming schedules now, like starting next year when they transfer into SEC. Like, my God,
Man,
some of those schedules were nuts.
they got Murderers Row in year one.
Yeah. And they don't even have the hardest schedule. Like I think, and if anybody hasn't had the opportunity, you need to go look at the Florida Gators 2024 schedule. It is off the charts. Someone like their AD needs to get fired because their non-conference games are against not powerhouses, but like they're not
Got
cupcakes.
25 teams.
Yeah, they're not cupcakes, and they got to run through everybody. And
Well, that's what we talk about this 12-team playoff. There could be some 4-loss teams that are going to make this tournament now.
I think so.
And I think like teams like Texas and Oklahoma will say because they're the ones who
Yeah.
made us come. Like it's going to be every year. Like the SEC is probably going to send 4.
Yeah,
Big Ten's probably going to send 3.
I think so.
Now with USC and so Oregon have jumped over.
Oregon has not made the
Oh,
jump
so,
yet.
no, you said UCLA then? Is that who it was?
It's UCLA. And
Yeah, so like with USC making that jump though, like
so just to answer, so Kelly says she's answering for us. Fuck no, they aren't.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to have a shot because she swore? Fuck, that's what the rule is.
Shit back there. Don't get into it. No. Yeah. As far as college football goes, like there's going to be the craziest shift over the next 24 months in college football, and the way that we view schedules and the way that we view who makes the playoff. Um, and I think it's for the better.
I do think Clemson jumps.
Yeah.
I think Clemson leaves the ACC.
Where would you say that's like best for them?
They have to go SEC, or they want
Like
where else are you going to go though? Like where they're located,
I know.
they're at the very bottom of the ACC. I mean the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like, they would be the extension of the Big Ten, or you're jumping to the SEC. Like at this point, can we just have like a 1A and 1B good conference? Like, hey, you're a top 30 team consistently. Like teams just get relegated there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens now.
And like that's kind of the way that like big thing for Canadians is the World Junior Hockey Championship. That is kind of how it's done. And if you don't finish in the certain level, they relegate a team every year. I mean, I think it's safe to say like Vanderbilt, Missouri.
See ya.
And I mean, it sounds like according to Kelly, Texas A&M would be safe because they have a marshmallow schedule.
Oh.
Yeah,
They've also lost all their recruits because they promised a shit ton of money and they didn't pay up to anybody.
Yeah, I think the way that college football is going, the Big 12 is trying to save itself with like the mid-major teams, which Cincinnati I think is in the Big 12 this year, and Utah State if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There was a couple teams like I just don't see like when you look at that next year, you look at standout teams like Baylor and Kansas State, like I don't know. That's not a power conference to me
No.
anymore. Like now you might as well be just looking at the AAC, right? Like you're looking at Florida Central and all those other teams.
Well, it's like, what are they going to consider a Power 5?
Yeah.
Because the way this tournament works now, the top 7, Power 5 get 1 in, correct?
Um. Yeah.
Guaranteed 1 spot in Power 5, and then the next 7 at-large bids.
So no, I think that the one of the bids goes to the best at large or the best non-power team.
So 6 spots are spoken for then.
I believe so. Yeah.
And then, so then you have your at-large bids. Well, that's easily going to be 2 to 3 SEC teams.
Right.
Probably your Big Ten loser.
Yeah. So I would think you're two Big Ten teams for sure, unless there's major injuries. Maybe
Or
three, but
3 to 4 from the SEC.
yeah.
Well, we're already at 7 teams right there.
Right.
So there's 3 spots up for grabs realistically.
Right.
And the Pac-12 is only sending their champion. ACC is only going to send their champion. And then if Notre Dame's in the top 10 or 12, they're going to get in. Which I'm a homer on this one, but like I've switched it so how many times that Notre Dame's on a top 5 program.
Right.
We are a top 12 program. This is exactly where we should be.
And I think that this kind of setup is going to force all the independent teams into a conference uh, because of what is going to be happening. I mean, right now we'd be competing for one of 12 spots as a conference team, right? Technically, it's one of like 7 because you're trying to qualify and you have the at larges, but there's 4 of a pie there. You don't have the same opportunity. And how long do your boosters and if there's like the selection committee, if they want to make an example out of Notre Dame for not joining, how long can that last before they have to make the jump?
Yeah.
And then if and when they make the jump, do they bail on their deal with the ACC and go where they rightfully should be with the Big Ten, or like how long can they actually ride that wave? Like the Notre Dame fans are ruthless.
Yeah, we're not going to be around if we're not winning. It's that simple. I'm trying to see if I can figure out how this actually plays out here. But yeah, like probably like Notre Dame, they're not going to the top 12. Like I'm a big Marcus Freeman guy. If he doesn't get in that first playoff, he might not have a job.
Right.
Because he had a top 5 recruiting class last year. Sorry, top 10 last year, top 5 this year. He's probably going to top 5 the following year. So, like, in theory, in year 1 of the playoff or year 2, you should be in that group.
I mean, if they don't go 11-1 this year and make a playoff, I think that they're going to be disappointed because of all the money that they're spending to bring in Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
And I know the university's not spending money, but like they're using resources. So you bring in a guy like that who has been strong for Wake Forest. You have him run probably they're still running their spread offense there.
Yes.
Okay, so you have him run the
Well,
spread offense.
Tommy's gone, so it might be a little different now. I'm not sure who they brought in. I don't remember offhand, but
I mean, it would be smart to bring in a guy from like Hartman's background so that he knows what's up. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Notre Dame's in good shape. What's up?
6 conference champions ranked 1 to 6.
But that's the Power Five, and then one.
Yeah, plus the 6 highest ranked teams, not included in the highest ranked conference champions.
Okay, so that does bode well for Notre Dame. Because like just use like our friendship. Like we've been friends for like what 12 years.
Yeah.
I can think of one
losing season we've had.
Yeah, and like that's the only time they were outside of the top 25.
Yeah,
and most likely they're in the top 15.
They're a top 20 team every year.
Yeah.
If not, they just missed the top 20.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last few years, they've been consistently in the top 15 for sure, I'll say.
Right.
Going into the bowl games. Sometimes going to the bowl, they've dropped out, they've lost, but.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about Oklahoma football because I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention.
Kelly's asking if Colorado goes over 3 wins, over under. I don't say they have to go over. The Pac-12 is trash.
The Pac-12 is trash, but I think that their first game is against TCU, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken,
Well,
and I'm not sure if they have any pushovers. So they're not a good enough. They're not a good enough team to just win based on pure talent. Um, but Deion Sanders, like you never know. Like yeah, it, I'll call it a push. If you go to 3.5, I'll say under. But I'll call it a push. I think they have 3 wins.
I think like literally 6.
6.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
let's
here
talk
we
about
go.
the schedule here. So they lose to TCU for sure.
Yeah. They beat Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Nebraska's going to be on the rise this year, but
Colorado State, they win.
okay.
Oregon, no.
They get murdered.
USC, wow.
Murdered.
They get back that too.
Yeah.
That is
Murdered.
Arizona State.
Arizona State's been good recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I would give that to
Stanford,
Arizona
no.
State.
UCLA,
No.
no. Oregon State,
Maybe.
maybe. Arizona, yep.
No, Arizona's been recruiting, man.
Washington State, yes. Utah, no. So we're gonna have 5 or 6 wins.
All right. I will say 3, and I'll call the push. We'll figure out a side bet off air here. Yeah. As far as Oklahoma football goes, because we got Kelly here and she's interactive, so we'll spend a few minutes here. I actually was chatting with Kelly a couple of weeks ago, trying to figure out what it's going to look like. Uh, she seems pretty optimistic. They got a good recruiting class coming in. They've had them for the last couple of years. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel or whatever the lefty was. I don't know if he's still playing quarterback for them, but um, if he is, they should probably just see who else is on the bench because he kind of sucked. But uh, I'm just being honest. Overall, like that just might be my prejudice against like left quarterbacks. I'm not a big fan of left-handed quarterbacks.
No, they suck.
Yeah.
Like I won't sign one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't like playing with them on Madden. Like I wouldn't want the Steelers to draft one. Just is what it
Yeah.
is.
Like I recruit quarterback. That's my favorite thing to recruit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not recruiting a left-handed quarterback. Want to know why? Because offensive linemen don't block for left-handed quarterbacks their whole life.
And you have to figure out what you're doing. Like you have to flip your whole offense, and you have to expect everyone to know their left and right. It's a whole lot of work for football
For
players.
one guys. For one guy.
I don't know. It can't be my thing. Defense is going to be bad again. All right.
Well, you're in the Big 12, so your defense has always sucked.
Yeah.
That's that case closed.
Yeah. Nice. Well, sounds like it's going to be. I mean, at least you got the softball team. I mean,
Yeah, they're always pretty good.
yeah, softball team's good. I think that the basketball team's going to look good this year too, based on some of the guys they were bringing in. So we'll see how those guys go. Have you heard this story that Tom Brady lost $30 million in this FTX thing? Yeah, and he made like panicky phone calls to was it to his agent or to the office? Yeah, whatever it was. I mean, naturally, $30 million. Like if it was $30, I'd be pissed and I'd be calling to figure out what the hell.
What do you think the equivalent of 30 million to Tom Brady is to like everyday people like you and I?
For divorce or after divorce? Like,
What's his net worth?
I think right now he gets an allowance. Right? Like she's paying him. He's not paying her.
She was definitely worth way more than he was.
Yeah.
So note to self. Victoria's Secret models is where it's at.
So he's worth 300 million.
He's
Okay.
alright.
So 10%.
Yeah, I mean, he went and like bought a piece of the Raiders, so it's not like he's not eating ramen noodles by any stretch. But yeah, I mean, kind of crazy. So like we hear all these stories, you hear all these investments. Like interesting that like the guys that you watch on Sunday are also getting hammered by this, and that's the kind of information that I need when I'm betting.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, okay, that makes sense last year why he was so stressed out all the fucking time.
Divorced and lost 30 mil?
Yeah. Like,
You think
he
that's
might have
why
got
she-
divorced because he lost 30 mil.
An NFT too, like, whatever the hell they're called.
It's not NFTs.
Whatever the fuck it was.
FTX, it's just a crypto.
We can explain later.
Yeah, it's not crypto, is it not? It's not the same shit.
NFT is not
We don't know
crypto.
that.
No.
Yes. We'll get into
I knew what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, so, what I was saying is, that's the kind of information I want on Saturday morning or Sunday morning when I'm placing my bets. I want Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter or whoever is the insider to figure out what the financial structure is and what bets these guys have because they're all losing, and I want to know, like, if I went out and lost 10% of my net worth, I think it would fuck me up a little bit. So like, I wouldn't be performing at my highest level. I want to know that stuff. Anyway, small rant. Anyway, do you have any thoughts on that? You don't care.
I don't give a shit. He's gone now. We're still paying him. And he's
yeah, he's still getting a lot of money. From
he's
the
literally
Bucks.
getting like a short-term version of the Bobby Bo contract.
Yeah, I got. I read this other interesting article about Derek Carr, and made me think like, like I always want to call the guy a bitch, like not being mean, like not like, but he just always seems like a little bitch because he's got his like makeup on and shit. But he said that he made his decision to leave the Raiders.
Well, they made his wife cry, baby.
Yeah,
Yo,
and I
good
was
for
like,
him.
okay,
I
yeah,
respect that.
yeah, and like, there's no way for us to go back and prove that, but yeah,
If that's what he's rolling with,
yeah, cool.
like, how do you go back to that team?
Right.
Like, if I go back to that team, that means I have to show back at home to my wife, and they made her cry.
Yeah.
Like, yo, life would not be worth living.
Right, exactly. You're gonna be miserable.
Yeah, and then you're gonna play bad.
And again, these are the things that we know.
No,
Like,
yeah.
we were picking the Raiders to be in the playoffs. We didn't know they made Derek Carr's wife cry.
Right, yeah.
Like, if we knew that, we
We'd
would
not
have
be picking them.
Yeah, we would have been betting against them every single week. Anyway, lots of craziness. You see the Richard Sherman thing?
But he said one play made him decide he wasn't playing football
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, good for him. I mean, there's not a lot of people that would admit to it, but when you realize that you can't keep up with the new guy coming in, you should go. Like, that's it.
And like, let me just talk about. It wasn't like he was a slow receiver though. But did you watch the route? That got ran on him. He ran.
Tell Kelly, you send us the game and we'll be there.
Yeah. Did you see the route that burned him? There's two of them in a row.
No, I didn't.
You take a corner on Devontae Smith, got fucking roasted.
Oh.
Like it would be like me trying to like follow a fucking sprinter is what it looked like. And then on the very next play, he got scared of getting beat again, and Smith ran a comeback, and he ran like 5 yards past him before he turned around. Like that was it.
Damn.
Tap tap, I'm out.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so we have an offer from Norman, Oklahoma to go down. You just pick the game, Kelly. We'll
Buffalo Wild Wings
yeah,
or Wild Wings.
yeah, we'll do a live show at Buffalo Wild Wings. Why not? We don't pack microphones, so I'm just gonna have to yell. I can handle that though. I know how to do that. Yeah. Look at the schedule.
And I saw that Richard Sherman thing this morning though, and I was like good for him. That's all I kept thinking was like you said, not a lot of guys would be able to eat that. And it's like he knew at that moment, like, we're done.
Yeah, he knew what it was. That's awesome.
More guys should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys that are hanging on in a bunch of different sports. Yeah. I would say baseball is probably the one that people hang on the most. And like,
Did you hide a guy in a baseball lineup though?
yes, but they have to be productive in some way. Like, if you can't hit anymore, you better have an awesome glove. And if you can't hit and you don't have an awesome glove, you better be the best possible locker room guy that you could ever come up with. So the Jays kind of carried Brandon Belt for the first, I don't know, 2.5 months of the season. The guy was hitting like 198, but he's good at first, and he's a championship pedigree. Like, he spent 12, 15 years on the Giants, won all those World Series with the Giants. And I think he's exactly what they needed in the locker room to kind of like, you don't need to like pimp every home run. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need a home run jacket. So, yes, technically you can hide a guy in baseball. Like, you need to be able to run into the ball. If you can hit home runs, then you're good. You see the Rams tried to trade Matt Stafford?
No.
Yes. So they actively tried to trade him. Or I should say aggressively, I believe is what the article said. They aggressively tried to trade him. Wasn't working out, so
Are they trying to get draft picks back? Is that what they're hoping for?
probably, I mean, I don't think that they'd get the draft picks that they gave up for him. Well, actually, I know they wouldn't get the draft picks they gave up for him. I think that they kind of know that this isn't really a division they're competitive in anymore. Sean McVay is in a tough spot. I also, and this is a rumor, however, I've heard that Aaron Donald is going to get traded mid-season, and he's going to end up back in the place that he played his college ball. Just saying. You know where he went to college?
I'm fully aware he went to college.
Okay. So apparently Aaron Donald is going to be mid-season trade to the Steelers.
I think he's a mid-season trade to whoever wants to loan a player.
Yeah, I mean
That's what it comes down
the
to.
Steelers make sense because he's from there.
But like, they're not going to put him in the NFC
No.
just in case you're going to play him again sometime.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the Rams seem like they're I don't know, like the new thing is reloading. Like it seems like they're rebuilding. They don't have a quarterback of the future. They don't really have a whole lot of pieces. Their best two players are 34, 35. I mean, Aaron Donald's got to be getting up there now, right?
I would say probably just early 30s, probably.
Okay. Early 30s. Still, I mean, for a D tackle, like he's a monster. Anyway, I would never trade that guy.
No.
I would go to the mattresses with that and just kind of hold on to him. But last NFL question, and then we're gonna dip into some CFL and then talk a little bit about the. Maybe I'll talk about the.
He's
home run
32.
derby. Has the home run derby started? Because I gotta get. Maybe I should put my bet out there. Already. So on DraftKings, they have
8 p.m. it starts.
and this might be different in the States, so anybody in the US that's listening, this might not be the same. So on DraftKings, they have a 50% boost on home run derbies. So for the home run derby, I picked Randy Arenzano. I only picked him because I knew you couldn't say his name. Arozarena. Randy Arozarena. He's on the Rays. He swings hard. He's not a big guy, but like he's pretty cooked up. He's pretty jacked up. He was paying out plus 1,000. So with the boost, it went to 1,500. I'll take that. Yeah, why not? So anyway, that's what I'm on. Try and get that in. Try and get that bet on there if you can, because it's definitely worthwhile. Saquon Barkley or Brandon Jacobs?
What's the question?
Pick one. I mean, they're both basically in the exact same position. They're both franchised going into this year. Well, I guess Barkley's franchised. Jacobs is on his fifth.
Josh Jacobs, you mean?
Yeah.
You said Brandon Jacobs.
Oh,
That sounds like, well, what's the question? That's like, what's the question?
All right, you like them both?
I was like, really, like, are you trying to compare like
Yeah.
who died quicker in a Giants uniform? I thought that's what you were gonna.
Mm.
So that would also be a great conversation.
Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. You got to pick one. You got to pay one.
Well, I'm paying Josh Jacobs because he's been reliable.
Okay. And what kind of money would you give to a running back right now of that caliber?
$8 million is where we're capping that bad boy off.
For how many years?
Over time?
Yeah.
3 tops, 325, and push that 3 to 25, maybe 327,
Okay.
with some bonuses in there for them.
Yeah.
I think that's where you got to cap. Like we've all seen, you can't pay a running back 2 digits in the millions. Doesn't work.
Like
But yeah, no, I just think you can't pay a running back $10 million a season anymore.
yeah.
But if you go with that $8 million range with incentives, then they can build their way up to that.
Right.
And if you bump it up to like 3 years, 27 million, that puts it at that 9 mark, and you're still getting there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that. Like, I was looking at it and I was trying to figure it out, and I was actually I was watching a debate on which one was more likely to get their contract first, because the assumption is that they're both going to get paid before the season starts. I think the answer is the person that gets paid first is the GM without the steady hand.
Yeah.
Because their contracts are likely to look the exact same, but you don't want to be the one that sets the market. Everybody was pissed at the Deshaun Watson thing.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, I guess. I mean, but if the Cleveland Browns felt like that was the guy that they wanted to pay and give all that guaranteed money to, that's why they're the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I almost like it's barf worthy, but like I almost respect the Ravens for not caving to Lamar. I mean, they met him and they paid him well, but they definitely didn't do what he wanted them to do. And that extra $17 million that they gave to Odell, that easily could have went to him. But they spread it around and they did the right thing. So anyway, how about this Chad Kelly guy?
Swag Kelly, he's back, baby.
Yeah, we watched him at Ole Miss. We were curious to see what was going to happen in the NFL. It turns out that he wanted to be in the Fast and the Furious more than the Denver Broncos, and it got himself into a little bit of, we'll say trouble.
That's a fair way to put it.
Yeah, he got
We're not talking down on him.
Yeah, he got Uncle Dude. Now he ends up with the Argonauts, which is cool. Like, I mean, he's playing pretty close to here. First couple years, he didn't really play a whole lot. I mean, he did get to play in the Grey Cup. The other Bethel McLeod ends up taking off to the XFL or the USFL. I can't remember which one. So then it's Chad Kelly's team, and people are wondering: is he the guy? Can he play? There's something about him that makes me want to watch the CFL, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I have watched every single one of his starts.
Well, we've always, every year, we try to be like, hey, we're going to watch the CFL this year. We're going to do it. We're going to try.
Yeah,
And within 2-3 weeks, like, oh, we can't do it.
it's different this year.
They
I
have
know
good,
one of the quarterbacks. Well, unfortunately, Masoli got his knee ripped out. But
again, poor
yeah,
guy, man.
yeah,
But like Vernon Adams in BC is a stud.
yeah. That was the game that I watched I didn't watch the pregame. I watched halftime. Yeah,
And like Swag Kelly, there's something fun about him. He just makes football exciting.
yeah,
He's unconventional as shit.
yeah.
But he always makes his team feel that they have a chance to win.
Mhm.
And it was the same guy when he's at Ole Miss.
Yep.
He never made it pretty, but he made it happen. And he does things that you can't teach, and those are the things you can't teach. And the guys rally behind him.
Yeah, and I mean they're strong on defense, but you look at it and you think like maybe maybe before um, you think his stat line is gonna be crazy and you think he's gonna throw for a ton of yards. I did have a beef with him last week where I needed him for 250 and the Argonauts win, and he threw for 249,
Ooh.
and he threw late in the game, and the guy just happened to get tackled short. So like he tried, but I was a little pissed that they ended up a little short. Is what it is, I guess. But um, it makes the CFL interesting. I am curious if what you're saying, like, because usually July, like June and July, we do watch the CFL, and then in August the preseason for the NFL
And like
starts.
the baseball heats up. It's always
Yeah.
how it goes down, right? But yeah, if you're getting exciting quarterback play, it's going to make people watch.
Yeah,
And especially the CFL, and I know like the diehard loyalist Canadians don't want to hear this. They need big time American players playing the CFL if you want to grow the game outside of this small area.
right.
Like ESPN showing the games now.
Yep.
So there's a little bit more interest south of the border. You need to have recognizable names from the NCAA.
Right. Like Spencer Radler should be in the CFL in 2 years.
100%. He's 6 feet tall. He can move. He's built like a CFL quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys that end up being I guess financially, you would much rather be the third or practice string quarterback for an NFL team.
Well, we looked up Chad Kelly's contract today.
It's hard to read.
There's a lot of bonuses that are very particular.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we can't even get into it. There's so many intricacies in that thing, but overall, I mean, we worked it out that he was going to make about 250.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the NFL minimum
It's like 800,000, I think. That's a different kind of money.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's phenomenal.
Kelly always coming in with we're underestimating Spencer Radler.
Well, we've always done that.
I
That's nothing new to you.
yeah, no, like I think that he would flourish in the CFL. Like he would actually get to play, and he would have to humble himself to like play for that. But
The CFL's made for Big 12 quarterbacks.
yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
it kind of is the Big 12. Like if the Big 12 used a bigger ball, like the CFL and the Big 12 are the same
Yeah.
thing.
They just air it out the whole time. They throw it all around. The game's wide open.
Oof. If you can find that bet, Kelly, you should place it because there's going to be some big odds on that. But that being said, South Carolina, didn't turn around. Uh,
He won some football games for them.
he did, and some big games. I mean, they are the reason that Tennessee kind of fell apart at the end there. Injury obviously helped, but they beat the Tennessee team before the
Yeah.
injury happened. So she might be onto something. Look, if we're looking for
Value pick.
value pick is there.
$10 bet on Spencer Rattler to win the Heisman. You can win some dollars.
I've spent $10 on way worse. Way worse.
I can promise you I have.
Yeah.
To anybody who watches this show.
Oh. Like I guess those guys all play in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, two of them might not be for much longer. So,
Yeah. What Jalen?
and if
Hurts
you
is
ask
still-
Alabama, Jalen's a product of Nick Saban.
yeah.
She's gonna fucking go off on us any minute now.
Yeah, but I mean, in reality, like he did get most of his training there, and and then Lincoln Riley left. So anyway, um, that the CFL is exactly what it needs to be. Uh, for even casual like Canadian fans that watch college football, if we see college football names that we know, we're more likely to tune into it. That's I think the XFL and the USFL kind of did the same thing. They went for the most talented like Division 2 players,
Yeah.
which maybe that's because that's what their talent pool was, but they should have been dipping in to the undrafted players. If I'm an undrafted player trying to make the NFL, I should want to be picked up by the XFL or the USFL to go in, make the exact same amount of money, play the season, be done in June, go pick an NFL team that I want to play
You're
for,
playing football year round.
and then do what you got to do.
Yeah, with the XFL and USFL, they have to find quarterbacks. It's the only way people are going to
Yeah.
watch your product.
Yeah, and there's too many good ones out there that just stop playing, and like whether they stop playing because they don't want to play, or they stop playing because the opportunities aren't there for them, or I mean, if you have a certain number on yourself and you value yourself at a certain level, then you're not going to bring yourself down. So, I understand it. The home run derby it's probably underway already. So, Randy Ozarena, that's my pick. Most people around here are going to be back in Vlad Jr. The way he's been swinging the bat, I'm not sure he's got it this year, but Pete Alonso is definitely. If you can find a bet for longest home run, I would say back Pete Alonso on that.
So he's a favorite to win. I saw plus
By
300.
far, he'll be the favorite to win. He's fresh. He's coming off the DL about 2 weeks ago, and when he's in it, he's obviously he's just a monster. He's got a pure.
And he wants to win. I think that's the big
Yeah.
difference. Like a lot of these guys, like they go in there and have fun with it. Like he actually wants to win the home run derby.
Yeah, like there's some guys in this that are far more recognizable names. Maybe more recognizable names for like the true baseball fan, but Andy Rauchman or Rutschman, whatever. He's the catcher on Baltimore. He's probably gonna be like looked at as Mike Trout's level in 2 years. Andy Rutschman. Um, left-handed, he's a monster. He's like plus 1,700 to win this thing. If he gets on a roll, he's got a left-handed swing. He's just gonna like the ball's gonna fly off his.
Well, like, is there really a bad pick in a home? Like you're all there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because when these guys get cooking, like you're gonna take that bet.
Overall, like a bad bet would be betting on like an old guy. Like you want somebody young with a lot of cardio because that's really what it's going to come down to is how many swings can you do over the course of 2 hours. And if you're looking at pounding out like 80 home runs, that probably means you swing the bat 200 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot of swings,
A
man.
full tilt.
Yeah. And like jerking your body, like your hips you're going to feel the whole thing. But if you're 21, 22, 23, you're probably not going to feel it at all, and you're just going to move on with your day. And you got anything else that you wanted to kind of cover and bounce through?
Nah, man, I'm good. Like I said, we just had this massive event for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Watched a couple festivals. Big news came out. This Rogers deal, that's a big one for us, obviously. I think it's gonna be also big for high school football in our hometown.
Yep.
We're gonna put a lot of attention on those guys.
for sure.
And it's kind of a really cool opportunity for all of us too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, who would have thought that a couple dummies in the basement would end up on TV screens without trying to put YouTube on your TV screen? So this is actually
Yeah,
something that is allowing us to be on TV. So we appreciate the opportunity.
remember, we got a YouTube violation on the very second episode.
Yeah, and we're just gonna continue to grind through it. We got that show. We'll have this one. If you prefer to watch us drink and swear, I'd stick to this one. If you if you want to see some good clean
Family
London,
wholesome
Ontario,
fun.
yeah, then the Rogers channel is definitely there. But we appreciate the support. We know there's lots of it out there, and we won't be back next week, but we will be back the following week, and then after that,